Hi everyone, I'm Bobby Leahy, the Chief Content Officer at commonsku. Thank you for being here. It's my privilege to introduce our next speakers. Riley Goodman and Jake Director founded Strideline in 2009. As seniors in high school, they started the company with $700. Riley heads up the retail division of Strideline and manages their licensing relationship with 200 plus NCAA schools, ESPN, and many others. Jake led the team's entry into the promo space in 2014, has quickly turned it into the fastest growing division in the company. Strideline has over 100 employees and is carried in thousands of retailers across the country, including Nordstrom's, Champs, Costco, Macys, and others. Their socks are on the feet of Kevin Hart, Snoop Dogg, and many of the most influential athletes and artists in the world. Welcome to the stage, Riley Goodman and Jake Director.
Awesome, thank you.
All right, we on?
Testing, testing.
There we go.
All right. Hello, everyone. See if we can get this. All right. My name is Jake Director. I'm one of the co-founders of Strideline. This is my lifetime friend and business partner, Riley Goodman. We'll jump right in. So we're going to start by telling our story, the story of Strideline. Jump into our retail business. That was actually where we got our start. Move into our entry and promo, our capabilities, and then talk through our goals for 2018 and beyond. We love doing Q&A, so we'll try and leave about 10 minutes for question and answer. So as we're talking, if there's things that you're curious about, make sure you remember those, and we'll talk about them at the end.
Cool. So this is a picture of Jake and I in elementary school doing a science experiment together. I think it's important to clarify that Jake and I, from a young age, always wanted to start a business together, but by no means planned on being sock guys. It's an industry that we've found ourselves in, and we kind of stumbled our way there, but the amount that we learned has been tremendous. Our story actually started in the same hospital. We were born 6 hours apart, oddly enough. We grew up in the same neighborhood, elementary school, middle school, high school, college. So we've literally lived completely parallel lives. We're about as close to biological brothers as you could possibly get. We had always talked about starting a business when we were younger. On the bus in third grade, we planned making a t-shirt company that of course went nowhere, but while all of our friends were kind of talking about being astronauts or whatever it is they're doing, we talked about starting a clothing business. And so we were lacrosse players in high school, which is kind of where we got the inspiration to start Strideline. Hey, there we go. Yeah.
All right, there we go.
Very good. All right, we got a couple in here. And so in Seattle, the lacrosse community is really tight-knit. And there was this other company down in California making socks that were very SoCal and very, very chill and very that vibe. And up in Seattle, kind of the idea we came up with was making a sock for the local Seattleite. So at the end of our senior year of high school, we had $700 of graduation money saved up. And one night, one of our buddies actually got in a car accident, and it was kind of a sobering moment for us. We sat locked in my 1997 Honda CR-V, kind of at the top of the neighborhood we grew up in, and we had this view of the Seattle skyline, and we thought to ourselves, we've always wanted to start a business. We know we're going to the University of Washington together next year. We have this $700 of high school graduation money saved up. Let's just do this thing. There's no better time to do it than while we're young and have the bandwidth to do it. So that night we went online and we found a manufacturer of all places in Istanbul, Turkey. And against our parents' best wishes, we sent our $700 through Western Union to this random guy we met online. And miraculously, about a month later, this would have been summer of 2009, Jake and I were in class at the end of history period, and Jake got a call from SeaTac Airport saying, we have 1,000 pairs of socks with your guys' name on it, no custom paperwork, we have no idea what it is, could be drugs, we don't know. You guys have to come down to the airport and get the product. So we headed down there, and that's kind of how we got our start.
Yeah, so we show up at the customs office. It's actually a pretty scary place. Surprisingly, all have like big guns, honestly, which is something you don't see anywhere else. We didn't know that you could use like a freight forward or anything like that. So these things just showed up from Istanbul. At the time, like we have this like super long, like shaggy hair, and so we're showing up like, hey, like we want to pick up these boxes from Istanbul. So it Yeah, it was a weird experience for them. And basically, we spent the whole day there, and there's no paperwork, so they told us, like, look, we're not going to be able to clear the shipment. And I think sort of, after that day, we were sitting in Riley's car again and said, like, look, like, if someone can figure out how to clear this stuff, like, so can we. And that sort of defined our company culture for the past 8 years or whatever it's been, 8 or 9 years, that if someone can figure out how to do it, so can we. So we showed up the next day. We basically made it clear to them, like, look, we're not going to leave until you somehow teach us how to clear these socks. And after about 4 hours, they actually cleared the shipment, and we were off. So the first socks came in. This is supposed to be an athletic company. They came in as business socks. We ordered 6 colors. One of them was maroon. It came in brown. But luckily, these socks, we brought them to a local lacrosse tournament, and they sold out in the first 3 weeks. We thought we were just wildly rich, and this was really, really cool. So we really, over the next 3 years, we would get the socks in. We would double our money, that $700, turn it into $1,400. We'd send that money back overseas, get twice as big a shipment. And that process would go on and on, really, for the next 3 years. So this is the end of our senior year when we started. Freshman, sophomore year of college, we went to the University of Washington. We ran the business out of our frat house. We actually kept all the pairs in our, there was like a boiler room downstairs. But after 2 years, the fire department came and basically was like, look, there's a big fire hazard. So they told us we had to get them out. We moved to a storage unit. And around that time, we started getting some local press around what we were doing in Seattle. And we ended up getting into this local chain called the Seattle Team Shop. So that had 8 doors in Seattle. And we kind of got our first big break when they got bought by Lids, the hat stores that has about 1,200 doors nationwide. And since we were one of the best sellers in Seattle, they ultimately ended up picking us up and essentially teaching these 2 20-year-old kids how to route an order, how to work with a big corporate account. We had great sell-throughs, so we expanded in Lids. We ended up getting into Nordstrom and then Macys, Champs, Lids, and all that. So it's been quite a ride and a whole lot of fun. So we'll kind of give you an overview of kind of where we're at today. There's a little bit of fast forward, and then we'll talk through sort of everything we do on the retail side, our story through promo, where we are today, and then, like I said, jump into Q&A. So to give you an idea, on the promo side, we sell virtually all the top 40 distributors. We sell, I think it's around 5,000 contacts now in Salesforce. We're 2 years into promo, a number of different accounts. We own our own facility in the Philippines, so we have 90 employees there, 30 employees in our Seattle office. Give you an idea just kind of our size. We entered promo in 2016, so exactly like 2 years ago. We were at Expo. We did $1.1 million the first year. We did $3.3 million last year in promo. We're projecting about $6.5 this year. So it's becoming a really important channel for us, and we're very excited about the potential of the channel.
So I think I should clarify, too, how we roughly have broken things out over the past couple of years is I've been really heading up the retail division of our company, and Jake's been doing the promo side. We now do about 50-50 between the two. I think it's also important to clarify that Taylor Marine over here, if you stand up real quick, tall man. This is Taylor. He's 6'7". You can't miss him. He's the guy who really heads up our promo now, and he's incredibly brilliant. So if you get a chance, talk with him later. Here's kind of an idea of our branding. For us in the retail space, branding is incredibly important, and kind of acutely being aware of who our market is and targeting them and making sure that we don't stray too far outside of who that target customer is really important to us. And in order for us to really acquire that customer and find the right retailers for them, it took us years of kind of discovering ourselves. Who are we? I think we went through kind of a phase of like, are we really trendy sneakerwear company? Are we an athletic company? What is it that we are? And I think what we've boiled it down to is that we're an athletic company first and foremost, and we make the most comfortable socks on earth for everyone. So we'll kind of run you through some of the branding that we've done here to kind of get a feel for kind of our self-discovery for who we are as a brand, starting with licensing here. sound. All right, hey, cool.
Thank you.
So that was our, that was just a short clip that we made for as we entered the license space, which I'll get into in a second here. But as you can see, we really worked to develop this athletic performance feel to our socks, which is really the pinnacle point of why we do what we do. So the next video we hear is a little bit more geared towards performance. So I think for any company who's developing a brand around athleticism and performance, one of the biggest challenges, okay, are you going to do something that's just like Nike, or are you going to try and do something different? And so for us, for so long, we've sat internally with our design team and our creative director and talked about, like, what are the things that we can do that makes us different and gives us a totally different feel. And so we've flipped through magazines and ripped out pages. We're like, okay, that's us, and put it up on our creative board, and we've done this, that, and the other thing. This third video we want to show you guys is completely abstract, and maybe an example of us like trying to be too different, but I think it is kind of gives you guys a good feel for our attempt to make sure that we're doing something different and making sure that it's something that really resonates. And I think most people who watch this video honestly ask themselves, what the hell is that? But it's gotten a lot of attention, it's got people talking, and it's instigated really a lot of discussion on social media about, like, what is this brand doing, this Strideline brand. So this third one, it's the middle video on
I think we can just show the pocket sock one if you want.
Okay. Well, this is really...
Yeah, my bad. This one's totally on us.
This too is a video showing us committed to doing something different along those same lines. The other one is a bit of a narrative around a Halloween launch we did. This one is a pocket sock. It's a sock that has a pocket on it. We teamed up with a local guy, Nate Robinson, who's out of Seattle. He's the basketball player who's like 5'8", but has had a tremendously successful career, and it's a product that he really took to personally. So again, this is us. We want to be a performance athletic company, but it's us doing something different.
And this product did just launch at promo, or will
Growing
launch
up,
at Expo.
they said I was too smart to be a professional athlete.
For a little man, even if he makes it now, it won't matter. I'm in small packages. Robinson wins it for the Knicks in overtime. When he blocks Yao Ming's turnaround jump shot in the guard.
Training all day, every day is how I got there. That drive and insane commitment to success has to be the approach that I take to everything that I do. And I want to build a product that makes it more convenient for others to chase their dreams. And that's what Strideline and I have in common. And that's where the idea for a pocket sock came from.
The pocket sock is definitely one of the coolest inventions out. Pretty much just waking up in the morning, having the coolest socks out there. You can run to the store real quick, going to the gym, and you can have that one piece of item that you can't leave home without. Driver license, ID, debit card. My guy Deion Sanders, when I was a kid, he always said, if you look good, you feel good, you're gonna play good. Start to look, when you wake up in the morning, you put on your socks, that's the first thing you do. You're gonna feel good the rest of your day.
We started Strideline our senior year of high school, so we were a couple 18-year-olds with no experience in the retail world, and we didn't have a whole lot of resources. But we had this obsession with becoming the #1 sock brand in the world. So when Nate reached out with this innovative new idea, we knew immediately it would be a good fit for our brand. While designing the sock, we didn't want the functionality to interfere with the comfort or wearability of the product. The pocket sock itself is pretty unique, so we wanted to make the designs clean and athletic, but subtle. I think having Nate's input added an outside perspective that really helped our internal design team come up with a new look that was totally different from anything we've done before. countless hours of designing and then testing with our athletes and then collecting their feedback and going back to the drawing board. It's been a really rigorous development process, but we feel like at the end of the day, we've truly built the ultimate training sock. Structurally, the sock is leaps and bounds above anything else on the market. It took us over a year and countless visits to manufacturers around the world, but we ended up tracking down some of the highest quality raw materials on the planet.
We got the compression fabric used on the pocket from Taiwan, the seamless adhesive material from Italy, sweat wicking yarn from China, and teamed up with a boutique product development shop in Portland to assemble the first prototype. We worked closely with each of these factories and insisted on using the most cutting-edge manufacturing processes to ensure the sock can withstand whatever activities you put it through.
Whether you're running, traveling, headed to the gym for a pickup game, or training for whatever it is you want to accomplish, the Pocket Sock is going to change the way socks are worn. No longer are they just a simple fashion accessory, they're now the most functional piece of your wardrobe. Okay. So, again, just kind of giving you guys a feel for our commitment to doing something different and why we're a different sock company than anyone else out there. The Pocket Sock we launched recently with this video, and as of this year, we're extremely excited to really introduce it into the promo space at the trade show this week. So, should be really cool, and you should be seeing a lot of content out there. Really how we got into the retail space, which I'll explain to you guys before we talk about how we then made the transition to promo, was selling socks with city skylines on them. We started with the Seattle skyline in Seattle, and what we realized very quickly was that the ones that sold the best, of course, were the team colors. This is right around the time the Seahawks really kind of started to take life up there in Seattle. And so our best-selling sock for 3 years there was the Seattle skyline in Seahawks colors. It was really the same for the Huskies when they started to get good, and so very quickly we realized, you know, what's the next step from city skylines with colors would be to officially license them. So with that, we kind of dove into licensing. Our first license was the University of Washington, where Jake and I went. From there, we kind of branched into the Pac-12 and then leveraged that to get the rest of the universities. We now have 300 colleges around the country. From there, we got the MLS, and then we now have the NFLPA, ESPN, which is licensed through Disney. And the rest of them. So that's really what drives our retail business, and we still use that to tie it closely to athletics and make sure that any of the retailers that we sell through are premium and remain appealing to that target market of ours, that athlete. So, you know, from Nordstrom, we got into Champs, like Jake mentioned. We now sell through Costco and Amazon and everyone else. And 2 years ago, our retail business was doing incredibly well, but we made this discovery of you know, if we've built this infrastructure for bringing products to market, you know, what other industries can we get into that are gonna help our business grow? And that's kind of how we made our way into the promo space. Here's some further examples of people wearing our socks. I think one of the stories that we're, you know, the most proud of at Strideline is back in 2013. Marshawn Lynch ended up wearing our socks during a game completely organically. We didn't pay him to do it. We had no idea he was going to do it, but right before halftime, there was a close-up of Marshawn Lynch diving into the end zone, and there was close-up of like a sock on his foot, and we were like, there's no way he's actually wearing a Strideline sock during this game on his own, right? And you know, lo and behold, later on in the game, they kept doing close-ups of this sock, and it turns out he wore this sock entirely on his own. And so for us, that was one of those moments we were like, wow, we really think we have something here. We've built a sock that we think is a performance sock and one of the highest quality socks you can possibly get your hands on. But for Marshawn Lynch to do that entirely on his own really spoke to us. And he ended up taking a fine for $15,000 for wearing him in that game. We've met him since, and he still claims that we owe him that $15,000. So we're working through that. But maybe we'll pay him someday. But that was one of those really cool things. And if you kind of flip through the next slide here, you can see we now, this was actually this season, we have Antonio Brown wearing our NFLPA branded sock, and we have Justin Bieber also is wearing our socks. Again, this is entirely organic, and it's really cool for us. At any given time, you know, we're surfing through social media, seeing who's wearing our socks, and they're popping up everywhere. And I think it's a testament to the quality that we've come up with and the brand that we've built, and it resonates with everybody.
So I've kind of gone over the retail brand strategy on a whole, but the big picture for us is developing a brand that's targeted towards who we want to sell to. And really, it started as like really boutique-y sneakers, and then it was performance and athletes. And I think what we boiled down to is we make the highest quality sock on the planet, and we want to make a comfortable sock that can appeal to everyone. So that's really where the brand's become today. We want to make the most comfortable sock on earth. And we've used that to work our way into retail and now into promo.
So sort of talk through all the retail side of our business. If anyone has more questions about it on the Q&A section, please ask us. It's a big part of our business. It's something that we love. We're going to spend the rest of the time kind of talking about promo, the discovery of this channel, and sort of what an incredible journey it's been for the last 2 years. So to kind of set the scene, it's the first and second quarter of 2015. Believe it or not, we were the #1 selling sock nationally in Nordstrom in the end of or Q4 for holiday in 2014. So they were pretty excited about our performance. We're also in Seattle. They're in Seattle. So they came to us and said, look, like, we want this clarity of sublimation on socks, but traditionally dye sub socks, which you see most of our competitors in the promotional product space, they have all these problems. These ugly white grin lines. They have this burnt crispy feeling. The image is distorted. So they came to us and said, look, if you guys can come up with a sublimated product that doesn't have all these problems, but we still get that super rich imagery, we'll roll it out nationally. So we're really fired up about this. We end up going overseas, and we build this product that was ultimately called the Optic Series, which was actually a huge failure at retail. But we learned how to produce this, the technology, which would ultimately be called digital ink, which has really fueled all of our growth in promo, which we'll kind of get to. So that's happening Q1, Q2 of 2015. At the same time, we're developing what we call our base model, which is not a revolutionary idea and is very common in promo. On retail, I think less so. And we built it basically for licensed retail. We want to be able to chase teams that win. So the idea is we basically just knit all of our socks in advance, and then as orders come in, we print essentially a customized logo on this pre-knit base. So it allows us to move faster, with higher quality. Everything's uniform. So we're developing this for licensed retail so we can chase teams that win and we don't sit on inventory that's stale. So that's sort of what's happening. Didn't know what promo was at this time. So Q3 of 2015, we get a call from a friend of a friend that worked at Google, and they were like, hey, we want 10,000 pairs, and we'll pay you $10 a pair for it. We're like, okay, cool. Like, we'll definitely do that for you. Yeah. So we make the pairs for them up. Talty's the Taylor here is the guy who worked that whole order, and we're just like, whoa, like this is really, really easy. Like they paid us 50% up front, which is definitely not the case at retail. They only want one style for 10,000 pairs. Like Nordstrom at the time was putting in like 150 styles for a 10,000 pair order, which is a nightmare for production. And then we shipped it to them, and they didn't have any requirements on how no routing guide, nothing like that. We just shipped it to a random address. And then we called them a week after, and we're like, yes, like, what do you think? And they're like, oh, yeah, they're great. We gave them all away. Like, it's all good. Like, when can we order next year? We're like, okay, like, this is really, really cool. So fast forward a little bit, November 2015, Taylor here says, like, hey, there's some trade show where apparently, like, there's other orders like this Google one. Like, maybe we should try it out. And this is truly, like, exactly how it happened. So we're like, okay, like, we'll check it out. And kind of in typical fashion, like, Taylor has a lot of ideas like this. We're like, dude, we have so much else going on. Like, should we do this? And he'll, like, pushes us into it. And we're like, whoa, this is a really good idea. So I would encourage you to, he's really the guy that has built all this. So it's almost funny having us come up here and talk to you guys because he's really the guy. But so we go down. So it's me, and there's Taylor on the right, 6'7". And then, well, actually with other three really tall guys, so he doesn't even look as tall as he is, but Mike, Matt, and Dave. Dave's actually a designer on the left, but we were so slammed that he ended up, like, doing sales the whole time, too. But we're, like, got literally, like, the back 20 by 20 booth. We, like, called so late. It takes, like, 30 minutes for someone to even get back to our booth. We're like, okay, well, this is probably going to be a failure here, but we'll see. And then, like, all of a sudden, this, like, flood of people arrives. And like I didn't even have a chance to like look at anybody for like on our team for like 45 minutes. And the first time I catch a glance at Talty, it'll be like a moment I always remember. Like, whoa, like there's something really here. This is pretty cool. You can see, I don't know if you can see from back there, but you'll see we showed up with all of our collegiate apparel. We didn't have any like company socks to even show. So we realized right away like the sock category was taking off. There's something here. And also like the competitive landscape, most of all of our competitors, I think I'd really say all, were just doing this traditionally dye sublimated sock with all those problems. And coincidentally, we just developed this system for Nordstrom that would really end up working out perfectly for promo. So we realized there was an opportunity here, but there was a lot of problems. We only sell a premium sock at the time. That's really what the whole business was built on. We don't have any customer service resources. We had 2 reps that we'd moved from other channels to like pilot this out. The original plan was just call like screen print shops and high school coaches that ran sports teams and stuff. So those were the only people on the team. Lead times, we were used to 3 to 5 months, not 3 to 5 days. So that was like a big thing to wrap our head around. But again, luckily, we sort of had a lot of this stuff work in our favor because in the license business, like for 5 years, you know, we would basically sports bet. Like, okay, well, we think the Seahawks are going to be good. Let's buy a bunch of pairs. Like, we think the Browns are going to be bad. Like, let's not buy any. And I guess those are kind of the easier ones. But so it was really painful. So, like, to kind of give a little more background, too, like, Riley and I have not raised a dime. We each own 100% of the company. We each own 50%. Literally, that's $700. We just continued doubling for 9 years. So we can't afford to be sitting on inventory. Like, it just doesn't work. So at that same time, we were sort of building that stuff with the license business all around speed, so we didn't have to sit on that inventory. I'm rambling. Lack of industry-specific knowledge. Like, we didn't know anything. Like, we didn't even know what, you know, ASI was. We didn't know what PPI Expo was. And then obviously, which we'll kind of touch on, selling direct. Like, that has been one of our biggest problems as we shifted from retail to promotional products. Like, you know, how are we going to be able to kind of bridge that gap once we even understood that that was sort of a problem. So, but we knew the opportunity was large. So we're not going to bore you with socks. Basically now we have a full offering. We offer any kind of sock you want, and we can offer it really, really fast. 2-week rush available on all of our products, from a super premium sock to you know, a super economy sock to an economy pocket sock to whatever it is. All of it's available for 2-week rush. Business socks, the whole kind of thing. Encourage you to check out our website or our booth. You know, we can kind of give you the full rundown. Won't waste your time now. And industry-specific knowledge, we started picking that up. We talked to as many people as we could. Mark Graham, wherever he is, was one of the people that really helped us out understanding that stuff, and a lot of the distributors and suppliers in Seattle helped us out too. Selling direct, we're kind of getting behind schedule, I guess, so I'll touch on this briefly, but if anyone wants to talk about it later, please find us. This is one of the biggest challenges for us. Coming from retail, I think a lot of brands struggle to make that shift. It was one of the biggest challenges that we had. So really over the last 2 years, we've developed finally a policy that we feel pretty good about. Certainly this was a challenge. Firstly, we didn't understand what it was. We obviously had the retail business, and we also do sell youth sports teams direct. So we started doing that like 8 years ago, and it turned into a pretty big business for us. And we've had a lot of employees that have done a great job on that channel. So we had this big challenge of like, well, we're not just going to like fire these people or kick them out of this channel where they've been very successful. So today, our policies, which we feel pretty good about at this point, if it's a brick and mortar store, we'll sell it. If they don't have a brick and mortar store, we will not sell it. And that's sort of how we define things internally with our retail team and our promotional products team. We do sell youth sports teams direct. So if you're a coach, we will sell directly to you. That's because we already had this business unit in place. If you're a distributor that sells youth sports teams, then we might not be the best partner for you. But then again, we might also still be an okay partner, and we do sell a lot of them just because of our product and level of service, but we're just really upfront with our distributor partners about it. And then our final thing is sort of our no questions asked policy. So if you have any kind of problem where you feel like we ever stepped on your toes as a distributor, we write you a check for the gross profit that you would have made on that order, and we make sure we pass that customer off to you. And we really just don't run into problems anymore with it, with those kind of things in mind. So that's kind of how it works. You want to jump in on these ones? I've been talking forever here.
Yeah, I think very quickly we realized that the promotional products industry has so many different challenges that we didn't have to deal with in retail. The biggest one was speed in getting designs and production back. As Jake mentioned, in retail, it was we meet with Nordstrom and they'd say, okay, you got 9 months until we need the product, and here's all the 150 styles we want, and go make the artwork, and then we'll put the order together. And in the promotional product space, someone says, all right, we got a customer on the line, they want to make a decision by the end of the day. Can you make some designs like now? And so for us, we didn't have that capability. We had a smaller design team here in the States, but what we really needed was the ability to crank out artwork all day long for tons of customers coming to us to really scale with this thing. So the big idea was we have this facility in the Philippines. We have a tremendous relationship with the owner of the factory, and we've been over there so many times and developed these relationships with the workers themselves. Let's build our own design team in the Philippines so that we can leverage our resources over there and create way more artwork way faster to get it back to our customers. So the picture you're looking at here is that's Jake in the gray hat. That's John, who manages our facility in the Philippines, and 2 of our first designers, Reggie and Kevin. That's where our design team started. It was 2 guys, 2 computers. We went out and bought them a computer at the local mall there, and taught them how to do really templated artwork. And we said, okay, it's got to stay within these boundaries and do this because we're not sure how good of designers they were. And what we found is that the people in the Philippines are tremendously good at what they do. And so we've said, all right, they're really good, they're fast, it's quality artwork. We don't have to give them all the limitations that we thought we'd have to give them. So we ran with this thing. Since hiring our first 2 designers 2 years ago in the Philippines, we now have almost 100 people in the Philippines, not exclusively doing design work, but spread amongst a ton of different stuff. We now have accounting support. We have customer service representatives over there supporting our sales team. We have a tremendous amount of resources over there that are leveraging our business and helping us grow. And so I think this is really kind of the X factor and what made us realize, like, wow, we can grow in the promotional products industry while still having an infrastructure that services retail. And this has kind of been the secret sauce for us.
Yep. So, yeah, I think there's obviously a boatload of challenges that come along with having a facility overseas, and there's a ton of random items. I think hiring salaries has been a huge one. Like, we have no idea what you pay people over there. Like, this picture was literally on the very first day, and like, we don't know what you're supposed to pay a designer. We don't know any of that. That's created huge problems for us as we hire people and realize that, of course, we paid them the wrong salary. And that's created problems with holidays, getting internet. Riley was there for 2 months, like dealing with getting the internet involved, all that kind of stuff. But there's obviously some tremendous opportunities. To kind of give a brief overview and burn through this, Riley already kind of touched on it. This has really made our growth in promo possible. Between the 30 designers, 45 people doing production, and all the operational support, there's just no way we would have been able to scale without that facility over there. And truly, like, we are obsessed with, really the main thing is earning the trust of our distributor partners. We're new to the space. How are people going to trust us to say, like, oh yeah, like, I'll trust you with the 30 pair order or the 120 pair order, but I'm not going to trust these, 25, 26-year-old guys with an order that actually impacts my living. So, everything we do is based around speed, and everything we do is around earning the trust of our distributors. We understand that takes time, but what this facility has allowed us to do is not only move faster and faster and faster with the speed of our production. By the end of the year, everything will be produced same day. That means right now, 1 to 30 pairs are all produced same day. By the end of the year, we are hoping to have up to 20,000 pair orders all produced same day. So that's our goal. This is what we do for promo, but it's actually really allowed our retail business to take off. So we've learned an incredible amount from promo and brought that to retail. All retail companies are in a huge shift. They realize that they got to react faster. They got to work their direct businesses to move quickly. So all these things we've learned in promo are making us really competitive at retail as that environment shifts. So the main thing it's allowed us to do is overstaff. We overstaff everything. So everything's 1 hour response time if you work with Strideline. That's 1 hour response time for designs. We turn everything in an hour. That's 1 hour response time in terms of responses to your emails. And like I said, by the end of the year, everything will be same day, which should be pretty cool.
Just kind of recap, I think our facility in Asia has been one of the most rewarding experiences that we've done anywhere. I think The people at our factory, we've developed such close relationships with because we've spent so much time over there. I think I looked at my passport last time I went over there. I have 26 individual entries to the Philippines, and primarily over the past 2 years building this facility that's allowed us to do such same-day artwork and same-day production. But really what's so cool about that is that the skill over there, the labor over there, and the amount of different things that we know we can achieve now that we have that facility is really what we're going to leverage to build our business over the coming years. We want to be the company that you guys know you can go to, and no matter how large your order is or how much artwork you need or whatever it is that you need that same day, we can get to you no matter the size. And so I think that perspective and has kind of opened our minds to really the scale that we could grow to with this facility. And it's been incredibly cool. I think what you're looking at here is a picture of Jake and I on a couple motorbikes in front of our entire production facility on their motorbikes, which is a picture we took in December. But I think it just kind of shows you like these are our friends over there. We're really close with them, and I think it's been an incredible, rewarding experience for us.
Oh, clicker's not working. You want to just jump to the next slide? So sort of in recap, and then we can jump into Q&A. Kind of want to just go over all of our capabilities. Again, we don't want this to be a sales pitch or anything, but just kind of to recap. At the bottom, like I said, our goal is really to earn your trust. We're new to this space, still relatively new, but we're learning quickly. And I think the things we understand is that you guys, or not you guys, a lot of your suppliers and ours, but as distributors, our distributor partners, we have to earn their trust. So we now have a full assortment. We talked about that 1 hour response time. One thing that we didn't really have a lot of time to touch on is with what we learned at retail and also selling direct, our marketing is really honestly what we're best at. And I think a lot of digital marketing initiatives are rolling out really like right now. So I think hopefully if we're doing our jobs, you won't really be able to escape us with our digital marketing for display ads. You'll see us on Facebook, Instagram, everywhere you go. And that's something that we heavily track. So we're tracking everything to the penny. We'll track on Salesforce to the penny how much value just who we met at skucon brought us. Obviously all our trade shows, all of our Sage and ASI advertising, all that kind of stuff. We use Salesforce heavily. We're heavily overstaffed, 2-week rush lead time. One thing we didn't touch on is we do unlimited free same-day specs. Literally, like we encourage all of our distributor partners, every single meeting you should at least come in with a custom Strideline sock as a gift. We would love to do it, and it's a massive part of our marketing budget and something that we find a lot of return. So if you do work with us, please take advantage of us. Our best partners are getting 20, 30 specs a month. Not exaggerating, we love doing it. All of them are produced same day. Obviously, all art's free, produced same day, ships directly from the Philippines to your door. You'll have it in 5 days. And we're really your one-stop shop for all things socks. So we want to leave some time for Q&A. Oh, there we go. So we were going to show this pocket sock video at the end. The big thing we're excited to roll out at Expo in Expo this year is this pocket sock. You guys already saw the video. A lot of obviously, it's a cool, interesting product, but I think for promo, it has a lot of benefits. Obviously, you can put other marketing materials in that pocket. It's really built to put in like your credit card or something like that, but there's a lot of cool uses we think for promo. We have it on our premium sock, but we also have it on an economy sock. It really is quite competitive pricing, and we're really excited about it. So with that, we put up some topics for questions. Looks like we have about 10, 15 minutes. We'd love to just field like random questions. I think we're way more comfortable in that environment anyway. So with that, does anyone have any questions?
You guys hold a patent on the pocket sock?
Yeah, we have a design patent. So the design of the sock itself is patented. And we've also looked into potentially doing a utility patent for it. But I think as we learned that it's an incredibly difficult thing and takes generally 2-3 years and a ton of time to actually get the utility behind it. So the design of the sock itself is patented.
Inspirational story, guys. And it's so cool that you found our industry, because I think the kind of work you're doing is where we all want to be and go. My question for you guys are young in your career, is your thoughts on your corporate social responsibility and giving back?
Yeah, great question.
Yeah, that's a great question, and one that's become incredibly important to us as we've spent more and more time overseas and producing overseas. I think the biggest thing for us is of course, we get audited all the time. So this past year, we got audited by Sumera, which is a company that does a lot of collegiate auditing. So UCLA and Georgetown and all these schools that we license with require it. So they come out and look at everything under the sun in our facility. Like, is there a gate in the front? Do people have access to getting their eyes checked and medical checked? Is there X number of gate guards there at all times around your facility? Do the exit signs light up, or is one flickering? And so we've had a tremendous amount of auditing. We're really proud that we just passed the Disney audit this past year, which is something that took us a long time. It took us about a year to get everything scheduled, get prepared, and actually pass it. So that's really cool. And then on top of just the technical pieces that we need to pass to be corporately social responsible, we really pride ourselves on creating really good lives for our workers in the Philippines. And so with that comes helping them learn, helping get them access to classes. If they want to become a better designer, we provide that for them. If they want to go out there and learn a new skill that they can bring to our company, we are always willing to do that for them. And I think that's really the biggest part of our policy over there, is making sure that the people that we employ have the ability to grow within our company, and in turn it brings a lot back to us. So it's become a huge part of what we do over there, and as we continue to grow manufacturing overseas, it'll be an absolute vital part of our business.
I think even as a quick add-on, like kind of an interesting fun fact, like if you walk through our office nowadays, and I'm sure this is common in a lot of companies now, but like we really view our Filipino employees as the exact same as our American employees, and we do everything we can to make sure that that's really made clear to them. We know almost everyone on a first name basis. I think the only people we don't know are some of the new people that have recently been hired, and of course look forward to meeting them. But if you walk in our office, every single one of our salespeople, like they have 2 or 3 monitors at all times with their counterparts in the Philippines. So you walk through the office, you're like, hey, Claire's sitting right there, and then you're going to be like, hey, Reggie, hey, Mike, how are you doing? So that's really been our vibe is really breaking down those physical barriers. We're not in the same place, but they all speak English, and we really do have a personal connection with all of them, just the same as our employees here in the States.
Yeah.
Hi, guys. I think I want to ask the question that everyone here wants to, and it's twofold. One, were there drugs in that first batch of socks? And 2, if so, what kind?
Boy, that's a great question.
Yeah. So we came and saw you guys at your first show in 2016, and it's been fun following you guys. You guys have kind of been our secret weapon whenever somebody says we want socks, and we want the cool socks. We have some friends that we used to work with that came in and launched a competitor to you guys, Stance, and they launched with millions and millions of dollars of VC fund. Us, and I'm sure a lot of people here, are small companies and want to grow into something bigger, but we don't have that big money and big backing. How did you guys decide that you wanted to position yourselves and grow without trying to compete with those that have just unlimited resources, it seems?
Yeah, it's a great question. I think at the core, Riley and I and everyone in our company are to a flaw, fiercely competitive. We want to win at everything you do, from obviously in business, but if there's a company basketball game or whatever it is, everyone really wants to win. And so I think we have an attitude in our company that, we want to win against Stance. We want to win against our competitors on the direct side, this company called Bombas, and certainly we want to win in promo. And I think we take that attitude of really no excuses. They have more money, but we care more. They have more money, but we're more committed to our customers. We're scrappier. And I think with that, our ambitions, which I think we haven't really talked about, we want to build the #1 largest athletic brand on earth. And that's been our goal since literally we were 10 years old. And we're so fiercely committed to that. And the people we have on our team are so fiercely committed to that Stance, we have an incredible amount of respect for them. And I think what we have going for us is we have the next, hopefully, 30 years or whatever it is to go achieve our goals. And I think that sort of gives us some perspective on what we're trying to build. And I think sort of the things we do, like in more specific examples, like if we'd raised a ton of money, we probably wouldn't have 90 employees in the Philippines that are, responding to emails, that are web developers, that are our designers. We probably would have just hired American designers. Little things like that can give us the edge. Stance is a whole lot bigger than us. But the things we've learned in promo, which we probably wouldn't have done if we raised a bunch of money, around speed and around customization, like that's what's allowing us to win at retail. And those are the things that Stance doesn't have, and a lot of our other competitors don't have. And we're doubling down on that because we think the world is really all going to be around speed and this global environment. So, I think while it's going to take us a while to really win, we're fiercely committed to spending the next 30 years of our lives on doing that.
Yeah.
So, relative to 96, I had been in charge for around 20 years and she's my best friend. And so I get where you are. But I wondered, we had our system for how to win in an argument or anything. So I just wondered how you guys work with this.
Yeah. It's a question we get all the time. And I think for us, we've known each other our entire life, and getting along has always been relatively easy to an extent. But I think the most trying times, the most challenging times have certainly come from our business, but a lot of times it's even the smaller decisions that are less important that are the ones that we go head to head on. And I think what it comes down to for us is not ever looking at it as who wins or who is right and who is wrong. We all have the same goal here. Jake and I are both going to the same place, and so when we're discussing something that we both feel passionately in different directions on, it really comes down to what do we really think is going to be best for the company. And we have a thing where when we reach a conclusion, and a lot of times it takes bringing an arbitrator, and we have Taylor come in and say, all right, Taylor, who's right here? Taylor's like, yeah, you're right here, that guy's wrong. That's just really the right thing to do, it's no question. We move on from it so quick, and it's never a personal thing. It's always what is best for this business. This business is our baby. It's the thing that we're passionate about, and we're not here for the short term or to sell it. If we were here to sell it, we would have raised VC money and pushed this thing to grow so we can sell it. We're taking a slow growth trajectory, and we're doing that because we want to be around for a long time, and our goals are that lofty. And with that in mind, it kind of belittles any little discussion that we have one way or another, and we make sure it's never personal. At the end of the day, I think we still, getting along for us is just kind of a second nature. It just kind of works.
So I don't have a question, but I just wanted to give you guys a testimonial. Had a chance to have dinner last night, and I have my Strideline. So
Let's go. Look at that.
They are awesome products. You guys, service was great. It was quick. I just couldn't say enough, and you guys have an awesome story. So thank you.
Thanks, man.
Thanks
Appreciate
so much.
it.
Appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you, guys. Thank you, guys. Thank you, guys. Appreciate it. Thank you very much. All right. Thank you. Appreciate you.